Hey, here we are, Zach. OVAthletics.com. We're just better here at OV Athletics, Zach. And we're better because of some of our sponsors, Zach. We'd like to thank Swan Sports Shop for continuing their support of us and what we do for the kids of the Valley. High Valley Nutrition, again, Zach.
Absolutely.
You know, was just over there not too long ago. Plan on going back again. It's starting to be cold and flu season, Zach. We know, being at school,
Absolutely.
you know, kids are out right now. You know, bringing the germs all around. You know, you want to go to High Valley Nutrition. You know, a lot of people think, hey, we go there, you need to be a bodybuilder to get supplements and all that stuff. That's not what they're all about. They're about overall health. So you can go there, get some multivitamins, you know, get on the little scale that I always talk about, and they'll tell you your body fat percentage and all that stuff. They have weight loss stuff there. Keep your body looking nice during the winter, and keep you healthy during the winter too with their multivitamins.
Absolutely.
And the other products that they have over there. Go see High Valley Nutrition, St. Clairsville, Steubenville. They also have some online stuff. See for yourself is another one, Zach. You're looking for a little weekend getaway in the fall. Maybe West Virginia's big. People like to go with the leaves changing on the trees. They could set something up real nice for you at See for Yourself. We appreciate them coming on and being part of OV Athletics. Go ahead, Zach.
You want me to do one?
You ready? Yeah, go ahead.
Or are we going to jump into segments?
We're ready for segments,
All right,
right?
we're into segments.
We're segments.
Yeah,
I'm
we're into
ready.
segments. Yeah, so, our first segment here, we're going to talk a little volleyball for a little bit.
Oh, volleyball.
OVAC,
Hit the net.
OVAC volleyball is getting ready to have their championships.
Yes.
They're getting ready to roll, so we thought we'd sort of dive into what the OVAC standings kind of look like and look at all the different teams for our current volleyball standings. So the big one is in OVAC 5A. There's two clear runaway leaders in our pack house here with 5A, right? University and Morgantown. They're within a point of each other.
Yes.
They're within a point of each other. And the best part
Tell us,
is...
Zach.
Best part is our records have to close when, Jeff?
October the 5th.
October the 5th. Who does Morgantown play on October the 5th?
They play University Hawks.
They play University.
Ooh,
So
Zach.
University and Morgantown playing each other for the chance to host the OVAC tournament for 5A.
You know, schools are hustling, getting those games in, Zach. You know, so important to make that top four and have your chance at a championship. Like you told us, University's right at the top, followed by Morgantown. That's going to be a great matchup. Great volleyball match to go watch. Then you have Warren.
Yep.
So Warren comes in at third. They're 15-2, Zach. Pretty solidly at third, it looks like, you know, with their average points and everything.
Yeah, it looks like their average points. They're sitting at 15-2. You know, they're pretty close conference point wise. They've got a pretty decent chunk of points there. I think it's going to be hard to move them out of that 3 seed. But then there could be a battle for the 4 seed still. I mean, obviously there's not that many games left. But Wheeling Park seems to be in the driver's seat there in the 4th seed. But Parkersburg South and John Marshall might just be on the outside looking in.
Both right there, you know.
Both right there. I mean, state tournament time coming. I mean,
wow.
it's always
our
feisty
section,
once that
and look at that
starts,
section and region that you have, you know, with University, Morgantown, Wheeling Park, Parkersburg, or John Marshall in that. It's just a really tough area to get out of. You know, but of course, as the OVAC does some great things, Zach, and what they do for the teams that don't make it into that top 4, you have the consolation game. So
Absolutely.
You're guaranteed 2 more games against some good OVAC opponents. Try to match you up against maybe somebody you don't normally play,
right?
And somebody maybe a little closer, maybe get some fans to the game.
And then, you know, we do have an OVAC team that's outside the standings, not eligible for the tournament, sitting at 18-2. I mean, Marietta being just outside.
Marietta, they don't have the OVAC games.
They don't have enough of the OVAC games in, so they're 18-2 record. While it's awesome for them, especially come tournament time for them in Ohio, but it's unfortunate for them that they're not eligible for the OVAC tournament because they just don't have the games. But, then we're going to go ahead and jump down to our Class 4A. There again, it's the top 4 teams are going to be in the tournament, so it's looking like this one's a little bit tighter. Oak Glen only has a 6-point lead over East Liverpool.
And Oak Glen, Zach, you know about their volleyball program.
Oh, absolutely.
Year in and year out, they're always competitive. And again, at the top of that 4A standings there with Oak Glen, could compete even in that 5A with those teams.
It seems like it's that part of the valley, though, because we've got Oak Glen, East Liverpool, Indian Creek, Beaver Local. I mean, Beaver Local's a little bit farther away from there, but Oak Glen, East Liverpool, Indian Creek, those aren't god-awfully far from each other.
And I think they're all pretty solid. I think those have basically have it wrapped up, you know, and a little close between that 3 and 4 between Indian Creek and Beaver Local, but it looks like, you know, it's going to be Beaver Local traveling to Oak Glen and Indian Creek going to East Liverpool for the semifinals to see who goes on to play in the finals of the 4A championship.
And then remind me if I'm wrong here, Jeff, but so it's the number 1 seed hosts the number 4 seed, correct?
Yes.
And then 2 hosts 3.
2 hosts 3.
Does 1 still host if they lose? Or is it the next highest seed host after that?
No, the championships will be at a central location.
Central location? Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember how that worked with volleyball.
The championships are at a central location.
I wasn't sure if it was similar to how basketball did it or not. I couldn't quite remember.
It's a central location.
Okay, cool. All right, so then we come to Class 3A. We've got Shenandoah at 20-0.
Zach, how hard is that?
It's so
20,
hard.
No, undefeated in any sporting event.
Volleyball is so tough. Hard to do it too. I mean, 20 games, Jeff. 20 games.
20 games.
That's a lot.
That is.
And they're sitting there. They're about 100 points, conference points ahead of everybody else, averaging. I mean, they're definitely going to host some games.
Look who's there at number 2.
Union Local, who we always talk about.
We talked about them all year last year. You know, they lose the 2 big players off the team last year, but still it's
in the
16
hunt.
at 3 for that 3A championship.
So it looks like there were some big shoes to fill. It looks like they continued that trend this year.
Then if you look at the 4 seed there, you have Buckeye Trail at an average of 36.47. Barnesville 36.24, Belair 35.22, and even Lindsley coming in at 33.89, and Magnolia at 33.76. Yeah. So, get a game in if it's a big game this week, and maybe move up in those standings, and maybe push your way into that 4 seed for some of those schools, and have yourself a chance for a championship.
Yeah, and then we come to Class 2A. We've got Toronto sitting at the top, most likely hosting their game. Perfect 18-0 record again.
Another undefeated team, Zach.
Undefeated is so hard to do in volleyball, especially just because you got games twice a week. And I mean, it's hard to maintain that and to be able to do that at such a high level. And I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if we've talked about it on the Streamcast or not because we've been, life's been crazy. We haven't had a weekly episode, but I feel like we've talked about Toronto volleyball before. If not on stream, maybe off stream.
Yeah.
But Toronto, then we've got Caldwell at 2, 14-2.
Pretty solidly at 2 there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty solidly at 2. And then you've got Monroe Central and Southern wrapping out the top 4 there.
And
but
look how close it is. Steubenville Catholic could bump in there.
Yep, Steubenville Catholic's very close.
With games still available up until up until tomorrow.
Unfortunately, it looks like Clay Battelle and River are probably on the outside looking in.
I think they're at the outside looking in, but Steubenville Catholic
they're just not within striking distance point wise. I mean, Steubenville Catholic could maybe sneak in, maybe get a little feisty there.
Yeah.
Then we've got Class 1A. Top 4, we've got Wood County Christian, Wellsville, Trinity Christian, and Bellsville. Connaughton Valley, unfortunately, is the next one on the outside looking in, but I think they're far enough gap that I don't think there's enough ground for them to make up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sitting there at 7 and 10, I mean, I just don't think they have enough ground to make up. But Wood County Christian, a respectable 12-2 there at the very top of the bracket.
The championships this year, Zach, are at Union Local High School.
Union Local, there we go. Okay, I knew you'd find it.
It's the 1 host of 4, the 2 host of 3,
and then it goes.
The winners move on to Union Local, go over to Jetland over there, go to the hangar.
That's awesome.
Over there in Belmont.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great place to watch a sporting event. You ever been to Belmont to watch
I have not.
At the hangar? Go to the hangar or the football. I think they call both the hangar, the football field and the gym. Great place. You know what? Basketball game last year, they had Chick-fil-A there.
You know what?
That doesn't get you there.
Is Junior Ovax Wrestling held there? Mm-hmm. Okay, I have been there. I have been there. The 1 year I coached wrestling, I've been out there for Junior Ovax.
Yeah, because they have the 2 gyms. Yeah, it's a really nice setup.
I've been out there for Junior Ovax. Yeah, that was awesome.
Great place to go watch an event. Get out to Belmont, watch those
absolutely.
championships next Saturday.
So that sort of wraps up our little bit of talk about volleyball here, Jeff. Are there any articles on OV Athletics you might want to talk about this week? Are there any, other than just saying, hey, check out our awesome content?
Hey, check out our awesome content this week and every week. Check out our new content. A lot of high school sports stuff. We have a lot of some wellness articles on there as well that we've updated.
And then be sure to follow us on social media and all that sort of stuff, right? I mean, how many games did you guys get to last week, Jeff?
I think we were at 5 total.
5 total.
So OV Athletics covered 5 games total. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. I mean, we're everywhere, Zach.
I mean, in true OV Athletics fashion, you were at a couple homecomings, weren't you?
Yes, we made it to Lindsley's homecoming. Actually, I knew somebody on the homecoming court. I've known her since she was born. So,
that's awesome.
Jenny Finley was, Jenny and Adam's daughter Lexi was on the homecoming court for Lindsley.
Awesome. Yeah.
And so I got to see them, and I even, it allows us to some access that some people don't have. So it allowed me to be on the field to take pictures of Lexi and Jenny and Adam as they were coming out onto the field.
That's awesome.
That I got to send to them. They were, really happy.
And that was up at West Family Stadium. Right?
It was up at the West Family Stadium on the campus of West Liberty University. So,
that's a gorgeous field.
It is. It really is. Yeah. And it was a great game, Zach.
It was weird for me that Lindsley's homecoming wasn't on an afternoon.
Yeah,
because it seems like my 8 whole years that I was at Lindsay,
Okay.
5th grade through 12th.
Oh,
grade,
I thought you were there for 8 years of high school, Zach.
No, 5th through
Okay.
5th through 12th.
I thought it was 9, 9, 10, 10, 11.
No, it
12,
always
12.
seemed like our homecoming though was on that Saturday afternoon. It was kind of like a tradition where the alumni came in and everything, and then it ended up becoming like a thing pretty much my whole 8 years there. So it was kind of odd for me that homecoming wasn't an afternoon game.
Okay.
Like I saw it in my alumni newsletter, and I was like,
It was just odd for me that,
that about?
Steubenville was somebody's homecoming.
oh my god, yeah, Coach Reno was like, they scheduled us on homecoming. They think we're beatable.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, he had them ready to run through a brick wall before that
I
game.
believe Zach was just the scheduling how it worked out.
Yeah,
You know, they didn't mean to do that, but it was a great game to watch.
There's no way Coach Reno didn't use that as bulletin board material.
No, not at all.
Yeah, there's no way.
No.
There's no way that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I figured we'd come into our next segment.
Okay.
My segment that's near and dear to my heart that I've loved.
You've worked
to talk
really hard
about.
on.
I've
I know,
worked
and you
very
came
hard
up
on
with
it. Yeah.
It's very nice for us at OV Athletics.
So we've got higher or lower. So for those
like
of us that
higher
are
or lower.
first-time viewers, higher or lower, I'm going to pull up a couple rankings that I found here. Some are official, some are a journalistic poll, and I'm going to give you a couple teams
Okay,
on their
I'm ready,
rankings,
Zach.
and you're going to go
I'm
whether you
always
think
ready
they should
for
be
this.
higher, lower, or if they're just right with where they should be.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one we're going to look at is we have an unofficial ranking. It's unofficial, but it's going to be the OHSAA Division 7 Region 25 rankings.
Okay.
So we've got a couple local teams here. We have Toronto, currently ranked at 8th
Okay.
in the OHSAA rankings. So throwing out how this playoff system works, do you think Toronto should be higher or lower?
If you would have asked me this before Zeb Kinsey went down, I'd have said they should be at number 1. He goes down. The second half of that game did not go as they wanted it to. They ended up pulling out the victory. But boy, they've been playing well. The coaching staff's really come together and got them playing really well. I like them a little higher than that 8 seed.
A little higher than 8 seed.
I like them higher. I
love that. I love that.
Seed. I like
So
higher
in
than
front
8
of
seed.
them, I mean, they've got a couple teams. They've got one that somebody near and dear to both of our hearts. Sitting at 6-1, they're at 2.
The Malvern Hornets.
Malvern Hornets. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go Malvern Hornets higher than 2.
Higher than 2.
And I know I'm going off the cuff, Zach. We're going off the valley, but
right.
that one's for Kurt. Malvern.
Here's another local team that is in this ranking,
Yes.
Jeff, that stunned me. I knew they were having a good season, but I didn't know they were having this good a season. Steubenville Central Catholic sits one spot behind Toronto at 9 with a perfect 7-0 record.
I'm going to go one higher. How about top 8? Just so they can host that playoff game.
That would be awesome. It would be awesome.
How's
Yeah,
that?
higher would be great. I think
I'm
they're
going higher.
I think they're higher as well. Like when I saw this ranking, I went and looked up how they've been playing this season, and I was pleasantly surprised by all of this. They may be popping up in another segment that we'll discuss.
And even
here.
the preview we did this summer, I knew they had some guys coming back, but 7-0. Hopefully, it wouldn't shock anybody in the Steubenville Catholic, brethren of their football team. But some people from the outside, I think, would be a little shocked with that 7-0 record. But I knew they had some guys coming back that got a lot of playing time and some key players. But 7-0, great job to Steubenville Catholic Central. But I'm going to go higher.
Yeah,
I want them to host a playoff game.
I think higher too. I
Steubenville.
think if they keep winning, I think it's going to be hard for them not to host a playoff game.
Yeah.
Looking forward here, looking at our handy dandy OV
the
Athletics.
You can still pick those up, Zach.
They're
They're
still
still
all
available.
over the place. I was at Butch's Corner today, and they said they only had a few left because they were flying off the rack. So let's see. We've got Steubenville Catholic has Bridgeport left at home,
Okay.
and then away at Connaughton Valley. It looks like they only have 9 games this season.
Okay.
So they could end up. I mean,
The Connaughton Valley game's going to be a great one, Zach.
I mean,
I can tell you that.
Realistically, I could see Central Catholic ending up 9-0.
9-0. That would be. I mean, they've got to get a home game right at 9-0.
They'd have to, right? I mean, it would be absolutely insane for them not to go.
Yeah.
So that's it for that ranking. So that was our OHSAA Division 7 Region 25. So then we go to OHSAA Division 4 Region 15. And we've got a couple local teams on this one here, Jeff. So we've got, at 2, Steubenville Big Red.
I tell you what, Zach. After watching the performance up there at West Family Stadium on the campus of West Liberty, that's like a plug, almost like a plug.
Yeah, it's like a plug, yeah.
But we thank the West family for what they do up at West Liberty, for all the facilities that they've been able to help out with up there, and West Liberty's beautiful campus. But anyway,
Absolutely.
I digress. But the performance that Steubenville had against Lindsley up there, they played tough. They came out punching. They got an early lead, and then they were able to withhold a late Lindsley run in the game. Steubenville's 2.
They're 2. Are they higher or lower, or do you think they might be just right?
I'm not betting against Reno and Steubenville. I'm going higher.
Going higher?
No, I don't want. I'm going higher. I'm going push them up to 1. It's Steubenville.
I mean, I think they're probably for me. They're just about right. They're just at that just right spot.
I'll take that. I'll accept
if you look at the playoff points, they're 3 full points ahead of Bishop Hartley, who's behind them out of Columbus, and they're almost 2 points behind Sheridan.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at it, they're at 18.95, and Steubenville's at 17.07. So almost 2 full points behind them. And if somebody has as many points as Steubenville does in that division, they got to be playing a tough schedule.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things. I think Steubenville's probably just right. Now, I'm not saying I would bet against Steubenville if we were picking, but for me, I think they're just right. Because when you look at that schedule, and I see a team that's 7-0 above them, that has almost a full 2 playoff points, because it's not like Steubenville's out here scheduling cupcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, our next one on the list, we have the 6-1 St. Clairsville Red Devils at 4.
They're 6-1.
6-1.
Sitting at 4. I tell you what, Zach. I like the St. Clairsville Red Devils sitting right there at 4. And I've seen them play a couple times this year. They're pretty good. They can run the football. Right. I think they're getting pretty good quarterback play this year. Maybe even a little better than what most people thought. They're getting quarterback play. They have some wide receivers that are doing really well. Thoburn is doing really, really well with the ball in his hands. And, of course, Dino Burke, back at tailback. That offensive line opened up big holes. Their defense is playing tough. Coach Fry's got them playing tough on that side of the ball. But with what I know about Bishop Hartley in the past, that's a tough team. That's a really tough team.
They're really
so
tough.
I like where St. Clairsville is sitting at 4. I definitely wouldn't go any lower. And if I could put them at 3.5, I would, but that would still sit them where they are.
Right. So I think they're lower, but only by about maybe 1 or 2 spots.
Okay.
Licking Valley, I don't know a ton about, but I do know that we'll be able to figure out kind of how they fit, because Licking Valley, I believe, plays Lindsley this week.
Yes.
So Licking Valley's going to play Lindsley, who Steubenville just played a tough game with.
Yeah.
Lindsley and St. Clairsville, they don't play, do they?
No, not this year.
So I think we've seen where Steubenville is, right? And we've seen how Lindsley played them.
Yeah.
Licking Valley, who's directly below St. Clairsville, very, very close. If Lindsley comes out and boat races Licking Valley, okay, St. Clairsville's where they belong.
Yeah.
But if they come out and Licking Valley beats the snot out of Lindsley, I think St. Clairsville and them might switch places. Like I said, about 1 or 2 spots is where I could see it.
After seeing Lindsley's dudes on the sidelines, Zach, I don't know if anybody's beating the snot out of them.
No, anybody's beating the snot out of them. Yeah, I'm just curious how it ends up. Like, I mean, you know me, I was here stumping for cadets all last year.
They got some dudes.
Yeah, but I think that'll be an interesting test for me to sort of get that barometer for where St. Clairsville sits.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit lower than that.
Okay.
Like I said, only about 1 or 2 spots. I wouldn't have them go much farther than that.
Okay.
Because I think they're a well-oiled machine. I think they do what they do exceptionally well, and I think they're gonna, be a hard out this year. But I'm just, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Has St. Clairsville had a really big signature win this season?
Indian Valley. Did they not beat? They beat Indian Valley this year. I think they
did. Yeah, I think they did. Indian Valley,
and then Canton South was a big game for them as well.
Yeah. It was one of those things that's like, I kept remembering us talking about St. Clairsville, but none of them like stuck in my head. Like, they weren't like that, they weren't like what we saw, happen on the West Virginia side with a couple of, not necessarily upsets, but a signature win per se for that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't believe I forgot about the Indian Valley one.
Yeah.
But that sort of wraps us up for our Ohio side for football.
Okay.
So that brings us into our West Virginia side.
I'm ready.
So we found a website that is run from downstate that does power rankings. So I went and found those. I don't know, are we allowed to say the website that we got them from, or should I just refrain from it?
I don't care.
So we've got the West Virginia Metro News Power Rankings.
Okay,
for football.
there we go.
Okay, so we've got.
We'll plug the Metro News.
They do power rankings for single A, double A, and triple A. I'll let you pick which one we start with, Jeff.
How about we start with single A?
Let's start with single A.
Let's start with the small schools.
All right, so our higher and lower, we've got Tyler Consolidated sitting at 7. Should they be higher or lower?
Well, Zach, as I look at the rankings and I know the rankings, do I have to pick? Can I pick or? Because I think they're pretty good. If you're going to move them, I could move them up 1 above Tucker. I could move them up 1, but I don't think I can move them very much further. I mean, you have St. Mary's up there and Greenbrier and Williamstown, and there's some tough teams up there, but I could move them up 1. So if you made me, I'd say Tyler, move them up 1.
Tyler, move up 1.
Move them up 1.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right about where they go. I mean, Tucker County's 6-0. Tyler Consolidated is 5-0, right?
Yeah.
And when we look at the SSA playoff ratings, this is what I like about the way they do their power rankings. Tucker County last week was rated 4th in the SSA seed playoff ranking, whereas Tyler Consolidated was in a tie for 9th.
Okay.
So we see that. So they could come up 1, but I'm with you. I don't think we can justify it much more than that. So higher, but only slightly.
Okay.
Then we have at 9, the Cameron Dragons at 9.
Okay, the Cameron Dragons at number 9.
Last week they beat Wirt Madonna 36-0.
Okay.
Their ranking last week was 9, so they have not moved from last week on the Metro News Power rankings.
Power poll. How about, can I move them up 1? Yeah, I'd like to move Tyler Consolidated up, so I guess I'm going up, Zach.
Higher? Okay.
I'm going higher. Sorry, it's higher or lower.
Higher or lower?
Up.
Higher or lower?
Pick either.
It's fine.
Higher or lower.
Yeah,
I'm going higher, Zach.
Hey, we make the rules here. Okay.
I guess I can. I'm the boss.
Yeah, we make the rules. Yeah. So up 1 over man.
So higher. You didn't went up too, so we'll go higher. It's higher or lower. We'll go higher.
Higher.
There we go. I'm going higher.
I think I'm going to go lower.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go lower. Not that I think Cameron is bad, per se. But I don't know. To me, they're a team that seems like a tweener to me. You know, I was kind of sour on Cameron last year a little bit. Remember when the playoffs hit? Yeah. I was like, I picked them round 1, and then I picked them to lose round 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Cameron needs to start proving it to me. Okay. I mean, every year in single A, they're coming in, and those kids are great. Like, they love football out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a football town on Friday nights there.
It is.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you and I have both talked about what great atmosphere it is out there, but I think it's time for them to meet the pavement a little bit. I think it's time for them to put up or shut up.
Okay.
So I'm going to go lower there for them.
Okay.
Do we want to just move our way up to double A?
Double A. Let's see double A, and I already know we're going to be talking.
I mean, we're not going to. We didn't talk about them at all, but you know, Wheeling Central's got Williamstown not this week, but the following week, and they're sitting there at 1, right?
Yeah, Williamstown's
now
tough.
In single A too, we also didn't talk about Wheeling Central is completely dropped from the rankings. They are not in the top 10 at all.
I tell you what.
Do you think Wheeling Central should be higher? Or do you think Central should be on this list?
I think Central should be higher.
You think Central should be higher?
I think they played some tough teams. They're a little young. But they still have talent, and I think they should be higher. I don't know if they can make a run this year, but I think they could be a team that you do not want to see if you're that 4 seed, 5 seed, and they make it in, which is going to be tough for them. I think they sit in the SSEC rankings.
We can save a little bit of that for later.
Okay,
we might have they might be coming up in a later segment.
I was trying to tease it, Zach. I was teasing it a little bit.
Teasing it here.
I was touching it.
Okay,
right in the right place.
So we come into our double A power rankings. So.
Can we talk about Fairmont? Are we allowed?
We can talk about Fairmont. Yeah, we make the rules. We can talk about Fairmont. So
how about real quick? Yeah, do it. Tell me.
Fairmont Senior is ranked at 2, at 5-1, and they play Morgantown this week. Jeff, they play Morgantown. They beat North Marion 54-36 last week.
I tell you what.
Do you think they should be higher or lower?
Have you ever seen Fairmont Senior play?
I have not, but they have seriously the best logo in West Virginia, in my opinion.
The polar bears?
Yeah. Look, I mean the paw with the roaring polar bear on it, it's awesome. I'm a logo nerd, and I love this one.
Hey. You know how I talk about dudes?
Yeah.
Fairmont Senior's got dudes.
Fairmont Senior's got some dudes.
I'm going higher.
They're
at 2, and I'm going higher.
They don't even
Scott's
have dudes.
good. Scott's good. But
right.
Fairmont Senior, They're good.
I wouldn't want to play them.
Dudes.
I wouldn't want to play them. Well, from what I've heard about them, I wouldn't want to play them.
Dudes.
I mean, I know their middle school. One of the middle schools was looking for a game, and Coach Heineman was like, "Do you want to get beat?" Because they got speed, and more speed. So I'm assuming they got some dudes and some speed on that high school.
I'm going Fairmont Senior High. We put that in there.
Yeah, we're throwing.
Let's go to somebody else.
Yeah, what the heck? All right, so we come to our local team. We've got Weir High School at 7, sitting at 5-1.
And I didn't. I knew Weir would be pretty good this year, but I didn't know they would be this good. I'm going higher.
Yeah,
I'm going higher.
I'm going higher too. I think
Beautiful
they're better.
Stadium. I don't know why.
I think they're better than Mingo. I think they're better than Winfield.
Ooh, Winfield's good.
Winfield's good, but I think
Okay.
Weir right now.
I'll try. If I go higher, I've got to put somebody lower, right?
Yeah, the way
the
way that Weir's playing right now, I think they're better. I mean, Winfield's got Poco this week, so we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah.
But I would move Weir up 2 spots. And
Okay.
I mean, what the hell is Zovi Athletics? I'm picking our local teams. I'm saying higher.
Weir higher.
And that's it for Double A. We don't have a whole lot
in Double A.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot. I always chuckle though when we look at the rankings because I love the blatant rip-off NFL logos that are just recolored. And Frankfurt's got one that's an Atlanta Falcon that's totally just...
I don't notice it.
It's
I don't
good
know what
stuff.
you're saying.
It's good stuff. I love it.
Frankfurt, I don't know what he's saying.
All right, so then we come to AAA.
How about, can we just do 1 and 2, Huntington and Martinsburg?
I mean, it's hard to pick between 1 and 2. It's hard to pick between 1 and 2 with these two.
Dudes.
I think I might...
Walker's back at Martinsburg. Semifinals last year, they were not happy about losing the semifinals.
God, no, they were not happy.
This isn't anything against anybody in AAA, but if that championship game's Huntington and Martinsburg, can't wait to see that one. But Cabell's right there too. I mean,
the top 4 in AAA are tough, Jeff.
I believe in Robert Shockey leading that Cabell team, so I don't know.
So, you ready for my take here?
I'm ready.
I think Martinsburg needs to be higher. I think Martinsburg is 1. Huntington's good, but I think Martinsburg is loaded. I think they're loaded. I mean, they're not Valley teams, but...
Hey, I know they're not Valley teams, but it's Huntington and Martinsburg in West Virginia football. I can't believe I'd ever pick against Martinsburg, but Huntington did it last year, and they beat them in the semifinals, and they won a championship. Huntington's for real.
And Huntington's been beating everybody in the 70s.
They're for real. Remember dudes, Zach?
Do you think Huntington's one of the teams that benefited the most from the West Virginia transfer rule?
I think most, they might have a couple kids on their team.
Because a
lot of their kids, last year they didn't have the transfer.
Right.
And a lot of their kids are in-house. So I'm going to say no. And there is a team that I know benefited from it that I don't see here in at least the top 4 in the rankings. I don't think Huntington, 1 or 2 kids maybe, but a lot of theirs are homegrown. There's some talent down there.
Because I know the one article that I read that was about the transfer thing, which again, we'll tease it because we'll talk about it a little bit more later. Huntington was one of those teams that came up that was scoring one-sided scores that people were saying maybe Huntington was involved. Not saying that they were or weren't.
I think what happened, I think they're in that league down there where they play all the Charleston teams.
Right.
And South Charleston and Capital lost kids to other schools. And I think that's why the lopsided scores. I don't think necessarily they went to Huntington.
Okay.
I think they went to
misunderstood the article.
I think they went to other schools, and therefore when Huntington plays these teams, it's
one-sided.
It's one-sided.
Gotcha.
Not because they have those players. I just think that those players went somewhere else. But that team is still not being seen in that are being accused. And nothing wrong. I mean, it's open transfer. You can go where you want, I guess.
This team's a little bit out of our purview. But you and I are both fans of them, so we're going to talk about them.
I'm ready.
Bridgeport sits at 4 at 5-1. They're behind Huntington, Martinsburg, Cabell, Midland. Higher or lower for Bridgeport?
Can I abstain until next week? Because who do you have next week, Zach? Tell me what the game is this week that might affect
Bridgeport
my higher or lower.
Parkersburg South, because South is the next one too. Higher or lower?
Okay,
we got them both in here.
I know it's 4 and 5 higher, and I've got to go higher and lower.
It's tough. It's tough.
I'm going South higher. Move South up, Bridgeport down.
Lower.
I'm taking South this week.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Love it. Take it. Put it in the bank. I think I agree with you. I like South. I'm interested to see how this ends up.
Yeah.
Bridgeport's a well-oiled machine, though.
What a good game
when
this week.
When I watched them play John Marshall, like I legitimately sat there and followed the ball, and sometimes have trouble following the ball with the way Bridgeport runs that offense.
Sometimes when you watch Bridgeport, you're like, why did they let them play with 3 footballs?
I mean, seriously, it does seem like,
like
it seems like a sleight of hand trick. Okay, so we've got Bridgeport and Parkersburg South. They're easy to talk about, right?
There's that team I was talking about.
Yep.
Hurricane.
Then we come down to Morgantown at 8. Morgantown at 8. Do we think they should be higher or lower? They lost a tough one to Wheeling Park High School last week.
I don't know what to think of Morgantown.
They were ranked 1 in the SSAC playoff ranking last week.
Last week I would have said higher. This week I'm going to say lower.
Lower?
They should be lower. Not by much, but they should be lower.
I think lower by 1.
Okay.
I think lower by 1. I think Spring Mills is a little hot right now, so I think Spring Mills Spring Mills deserves to be a little bit higher there. But they came up a little bit in the ranking. Spring Mills was 10th last week, and then we have Wheeling Park High School, Coach Doc's squad at 10.
Man, they're at 10, and I can't get a read on Wheeling Park yet this year. You know, they beat Morgantown, they lose to University, who lost to Brook. I can't get a read on Wheeling Park. I'm going to go higher by 1.
Higher by 1.
Higher by 1. How about higher by 2, because they beat Morgantown, and I'd have to put them above. If you beat a team and you're that close in the rankings, I got to put. So I'm pushing them up by.
So you're pushing Park up to Morgantown spot,
and I'm pushing Morgantown and pushing Spring Mills down.
Spring Mills down. Okay, gotcha. And then we've got dropped from the rankings entirely. Parkersburg is dropped from the rankings.
Parkersburg's another team. I think they're pretty good. Tough schedule.
Yeah.
But I like Parkersburg at that 12, which is, I don't know, higher or lower. I guess if you're counting the received votes, I go Parkersburg a little higher.
Yeah, so if you look at also receiving votes, George Washington and Jefferson and then Parkersburg. Jefferson and Parkersburg is high. I think Parkersburg up higher, but not into that top 10, I don't think. Right. So that's it for our higher or lower segment this time.
Yeah.
So I had a good time with that. I think it was a good one. I think there was a lot of good stuff.
Good get on that one. Good get.
I really liked the Metro News ranking. When I found it, I was like, this is perfect for this segment. So that's it for our higher or lower. Do we want to do our pick'em next?
How about, get the pick'em ready. I'll talk about our sponsors.
Absolutely, talk about our
sponsors. How about High Valley Nutrition, Zach? It's just, you go in there, and it's as soon as you go in, it's, hey, how can we help you? And you might not know what they have. You might say, what do you do here to High Valley Nutrition? We saw you on High Valley Athletics. What do you do here to High Valley Nutrition? They'll explain their products to you. And it's not like, it feels like they're not even trying to sell you something. They're like, hell, if you want to get a little healthier, here's some things. You got some multivitamins. Here's what they do for you. You got this. This is what they do for you. A nice thing that they do sometimes, too, is they'll even let you sample some of the stuff. If they have some things laying around, they'll say, hey, we have this laying around. We have this open. Why don't you sample this? If you want to taste this, do you want it, with a little water? Do you normally drink it with milk? So they have those kind of things, Zach, and they're really there to help you out. So it's weight loss. It's staying healthy. Those multivitamins are really going to help you out with that cold and flu season. Zach and I got our flu shots today.
Absolutely.
They didn't give me my Dum Dum. I was a little upset, so I had to steal one from my student teacher. She had Dum Dum, so I took one. You gotta have a Dum Dum when you get your flu shot.
Have to.
But hey, go to High Valley Nutrition, St. Clairsville, Steubenville, and they have an online store. While you're at St. Clairsville, go to Swan Sports Shop. Just say, hey, Brad, Jeff told me to come over here. You'd set me up with some really nice gear for my team.
I'm still wearing the hat, Brad.
The embroidery that they do over there is top notch. You won't find better embroidery work. And once they digitize your logos, they have them forever, and so you can put them on anything you want. Quick turnaround on the embroidery. They do logos on T-shirts. They do sports equipment. They have shoes. Basketball season's coming up. They have basketball shoes. Great prices on those. Different styles. They have just anything you need sporting good wise. And if they don't have it, they can get it in just a couple days. So, some of Brad's stuff is like 2-day ship on anything that he orders from these companies. But go see Brad at Swan Sports Shop. Go see Cindy. Go see Jeanette. They're going to set you up really nice over there at Swan Sports Shop. And then that fall vacation that you're looking for, Zach, see for yourself. Hey, the leaves are changing on the trees, the fall, everybody's coming around into West Virginia to see those type of things. And one we didn't mention, Zach, and we wanted to mention, we have our Ogilvy.
Yeah, we got our Ogilvy cups.
Today.
Visit
And
Wheeling. Ogilvy Fest coming up this weekend.
Visit Wheeling. Check us out on Facebook. They sponsor our quote of the day. We have a sports quote every day on Facebook, and Visit Wheeling sponsors that. So if you go there, everybody's like, "Oh, there's nothing to do in Wheeling." I'm like, let's see. Every day on Facebook, if you check out the sports quote of the day by Visit Wheeling, they have a list of stuff, all different things you can do in Wheeling and the surrounding area. So the Fall Fest is coming up. Visit Wheeling.
Ogilvy Fest is awesome.
Check them out. You can just click their link right there. Ogilvy Fest is coming up.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Seriously, my favorite thing in Ogilvy pretty much all year.
The fest.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'll be up there Saturday morning, Zach.
Ogilvy Fest going to be a good time.
Hey, what we got next? Pick 'em? We're
going to do our pick-ems. We're going to do our pick-ems.
Okay,
yeah,
let's
so our
pick some stuff.
Again, huge shout-out to our user, John Marshall, who sets all this up and runs.
Great job.
Does a fantastic job. Especially him
Puts
grabbing
all
our pick-ems when we do them in this segment.
Yeah.
He goes and grabs them. We don't even post them anymore. So whenever we, get our lazy butts off the...
out of coaching, out of athletic directoring. Is that a word, athletic directoring?
It is now. If it's not,
if it's not, I set the rules. I'm the boss.
We set the rules. There are no rules.
There are no rules.
So huge shout out to John Marshall for organizing all this. When we get out, and actually do them, he pulls our record. You and I are actually in a dead heat.
Oh.
You and I have the exact same correct picks.
But we're both under 500.
Yeah, we're not great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, it's not
so it's
great.
a battle to the bottom, Zach?
But
is that what you're saying?
Listen, we're not at the bottom. Unfortunately, there's a couple that are farther below than we are. Okay. But we're both tied in a dead heat at 18.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's...
For whatever that's worth.
We ready, Zach?
I guess I'm ready. I'm going to pick a couple of these off the cuff because I looked at them and I was like, oh boy, I have no idea about any of these.
Okay.
All right, so our first game, we have Toronto at Edison. Wait, I have the wrong week. Well, good God, this is way off. All right, sorry guys, I pulled the wrong one. That's week 7. We want week 8.
Okay, all right.
Not Toronto at Edison.
Let's go with it. Oh,
we have Caldwell at Fort Fry.
Caldwell at Fort Fry. Fort Fry's, a little down this year. I think they've had a couple injuries, a couple kids graduate. Caldwell's playing really well. I've got to go with Redskins of Caldwell in this one. Going on the road, beating the Fort Fry Cadets in that triple option offense.
You and I have been back and forth on this one. Or not back and forth on this one, but back and forth Fort Fry, not Fort Fry.
It's not last year.
It's not last year for them. I think I'm going to have to go with Caldwell as well. I'm writing mine down this time because last time we did them, we went to the tiebreaker, and I couldn't remember who I picked earlier in the tiebreakers. I got to write them down.
All right.
Okay. We have Magnolia at Frontier.
Great game. I saw Magnolia play in person. They played a great first half against Cameron, then couldn't quite put it together in the second half. I'm going Magnolia in this one. I'm going with the Blue Eagles. Another road team, Zach. I'm going on the road.
Unfortunately, I'm not a believer in Magnolia this year now.
On the road again.
I think they're just
can't wait to get on the road.
They're just missing something. I don't know if they're young. I don't know what their problem is, but they're missing something. I'm going Frontier.
I can't wait to get on the road again.
Can't sing much more of that or we'll get sued. I don't know.
Okay. I thought if I did it live, I was allowed to.
I think you're allowed to.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows? I don't know the rules.
Maybe
our legal consultant, Tom Sokovic, will get to it.
Tom?
No, he's cool with it.
Back to us.
Back to us, yeah. All right. So the one that is making me mad because I can't pick it, we've got Parkersburg South at Bridgeport. Battle. They're right there next to each other in the rankings. We just talked about them in higher or lower.
Not only great seasons they're having this year, but those are great programs in the state of West Virginia. Parkersburg South and Bridgeport. Bridgeport making that jump a couple years ago from double A to triple A and not missing a beat. I'm going with the Parkersburg South Patriots over the Bridgeport Indians, and it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a great one. Game of the week, I believe, in West Virginia.
It has to be.
Well,
it has to be.
Except if we go 2 more games, and you might get the game of the week again.
Game of the week.
I might have to say it. This is the game of the week.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Parkersburg South as well. I think that's what we both said in our earlier segment. We did higher or lower. We said Parkersburg South should be up 1, Bridgeport down 1.
And you said it too.
I think Parkersburg South is legit. I think that it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to come down to something small, like maybe a missed extra point or maybe a field goal. I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm happy this is not the one that John Marshall picked for the tiebreaker because I would not know what to pick at all there for that one because I think it would be really close. I think maybe like a field goal late for one of these two teams could propel them. I mean, South's a little more – they're a better threat on passing and running, in my opinion. Bridgeport, they run that offense. They run it so well. They're so good on the ground. I think I've seen them pass maybe 3 times in the last 4 times I've seen them. Yeah. They're a very strong run game. All right, so when we come
Did you pick somebody?
I did. I picked South.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked South. We've got Lindsley at Licking Valley.
Zach?
We talked about him a little bit earlier.
Remember? I was at the Lindsley game when they played Columbus DeSales.
Yep.
Okay. Columbus DeSales, good football team. I was at the game when they played Steubenville. Maybe Lindsley doesn't want me to come back to any more games because they were 0-2, but...
Coach Depew is going to throw stuff at you when you leave today when you drive down the road.
Zach. Lindsley's got some dudes, remember?
They've got some dudes.
They got some dudes.
They've got some dudes.
And they've played some dudes.
You texted me they've got some hog mollies on that team, right?
They're tough. Man, they're tough. Just what they do there is just, is a well-oiled machine. I don't know much about Licking Valley, but I do know a lot about Lindsley. They're not happy about losing to Steubenville, I can tell you that.
When we looked at them in the rankings, remember they were just behind St. Clairsville when we talked about them.
I'm going Lindsley.
Going Lindsley?
Dudes. You go with dudes.
I'm going Lindsley as well.
When in doubt, go with dudes.
Lindsley as well. All right, so we've got Morgantown at Fairmont Senior.
So I have to pick this one, right? I got to pick a winner.
Got to pick a winner.
Jeez.
I know.
I'm going Fairmont Senior, home team. Have you ever been in that stadium down there in Fairmont?
I have, yeah. I have.
Okay, tough place to play. I'm going Fairmont Senior. Man, that's going to be it. You know when I said Parkersburg South and Bridgeport's the game of the week in West Virginia?
Yeah. There's 2 games of the week.
I've changed my mind. There's co-games of the week.
Yeah.
You can mix them however you want to mix them. I don't care if you say Parkersburg South and Morgantown at Bridgeport and at Fairmont Senior. So you can mix up the games. I don't care how you do it. Or Bridgeport and Fairmont Senior hosting Parkersburg South and Morgantown. Games of the week.
Take any of those 4 and shuffle
game
them up.
A and game A.
Game of the week.
Game 1 and game 1.
Yeah.
Like, don't even put 1A and 1B. It's
right.
1 and 1 and A and A.
Yeah. Golly.
And I'm going Fairmont Senior.
I'm going
Polar Bears.
I'm going Fairmont Senior as well. Yeah, this is weird.
Sorry,
We picked a lot together.
Yeah.
It didn't work out well the last time we did it. I think we both sucked.
Yeah.
That's
going to happen again.
That's what it is. All right. We got Southern Local at Valley Christian.
I know Southern Local's pretty decent this year. And Valley Christian, don't know much about them. Southern Local. Going on the road. On the road again.
Hey, on the road again.
Can't wait to get on the road again.
I also am going with Southern Local. I don't know anything about them. I know Southern Locals, like you said, I know they're good this season, so I'm going to go ahead and pick them. All right, we've got East Liverpool.
I can't wait to get on the road.
At Bel Air.
Bel Air. The Big Reds.
Does that mean it's a Saturday game?
Again, it's a Saturday game. Saturday 12 noon. Bel Air. Hey, I was at Bel Air last weekend. The Big Reds battled St. Clairsville tough. Just St. Clairsville, just a little more dudes than Bel Air had. But boy, Bel Air played really well in that first half. They had a lead. I'm going Bel Air Big Reds in this one over East Liverpool, over the Potters. Big Reds.
I'm also going Bel Air on this one. I mean, I just think Bel Air found their. Remember how we said early in the season I wanted Bel Air to find their identity?
Yeah,
they found it. Okay. It's there. They're ready. We've got Cambridge at Warren.
Warren, tough loss last week to the Monarchs. The Monarchs got off the snide against Warren last week.
Yeah.
So, but Warren picked up a win early in the season. I'm going Warren. They've got some guys on that team. I'm going to go Warren. Not dudes, guys.
They got some guys. I don't know.
I'm going Warren at home.
I don't know anything about either of them.
Okay.
But after John Marshall beat Warren, I'm still not all in on Coach Caesar's squad. I love Coach Caesar. I think he's a great person. I love a lot of kids on that team. There's a lot of good kids on that team. I'm just still not quite a firm believer in them. And if John Marshall beat him, I'm going to pick against them. So I got Cambridge at Warren. I think they're going to suffer a couple losses in a row there.
Okay.
And then we've got John Marshall at Kaiser.
You're making me pick this one, Zach.
I'm making you pick it.
John Marshall. Kaiser's a heck of a trip. You ever been to Kaiser, West Virginia?
I have.
Man, that's a trip on a Friday, getting out of school, traveling 3 hours plus.
Bus lag. Remember last season, my bus lag theory.
They're gonna have bus legs, getting off the bus, rested bus legs. John Marshall over Kaiser. Bus legs help them. They're going to be rested.
Oh.
Boom. John Marshall Monarchs beating the Kaiser Tornado.
John Marshall, I love you. I love the kids. I love Coach Caesar. I just said it last pick. I'm still not a believer yet. I'm not there yet. Unfortunately, I think Kaiser takes this one. I think the bus lag gets them. I think the traveling gets them. I think
bus legs are going to rest them. They're going to rest on the bus.
John Marshall's got to figure something out. They got to figure something out.
They have
offensively, defensively.
Out. John Marshall.
Okay,
bus legs.
I would love. Listen, I would love to be wrong on this one, but I'm picking against John Marshall. Prove me wrong, John Marshall. I would love to see it. All right, we've got Buckeye Trail at Strasburg.
Buckeye Trail in Strasburg.
Strasburg.
Strasburg. Ohio. Let's go with Coach Styles coached at Buckeye Trail years ago. He never coached at Strasburg, as far as I know. I could text him right now and find out. So I'm going Buckeye Trail on the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
This is weird. I hate when we sync up this much. We need Tom back so we have some dissent here.
Tom, you coming back? Okay.
I'm going Trail as well. Then we come to our tiebreaker. We've got East Liverpool at Bel Air.
East Liverpool at Bel Air. Tiebreaker. I've got to pick a tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker score.
I'm going to go Bel Air 26, East Liverpool 6.
I've got Bel Air 34, East Liverpool 14.
Okay.
So that's it for our pick'em segment.
That's a good pick'em segment.
It's a good pick'em segment. Yeah,
we got to sing a little bit.
We got a little, yeah,
Let me know how you like my singing.
Yeah, got some singing, yeah. Maybe I'll send that to Mr. Murphy and he can grade your singing for you.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, that'd be good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a new segment here.
I like new segments. I'm ready, Zach.
New segment. I'm really excited about it. So this one is pretty straightforward. So the idea is the segment's going to be called Thing or Not a Thing.
Thing or Not a Thing.
So basically the way it works is I have 5 statements here that I've written. They're kind of what you would call in the business a hot take. Okay. I'm
hot taking it.
So it's a hot take. These do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Ohio Valley Athletics. This is
any of their sponsors.
Or any of our sponsors. This is for sheerly entertainment purposes only.
Okay.
So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the hot take, and you are going to tell me whether you think it is a thing, like it's good, like it's yes, this is a true statement, or not a thing. And you're going to elaborate on why you feel that way, one way or the other.
Okay.
I'm
ready.
So our first one is Steubenville Central will be the only Catholic school from the Valley in their respective states' playoffs.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. Why do we feel that way?
I think Central is going to get a couple wins. They're going to get to 5-5, and that could get them a 16.
Are the points they get from a team like Shadyside enough to get them in at 5-5? That's my biggest question. That's why I put this on there. Are the wins from Shadyside, from like a team like Shadyside?
Shadyside's got 3 wins. I think they're going to get a couple more this season.
Is it enough to get them in?
I think it's going to be enough to get them in. Plus, Martins Ferry, I believe that they have.
They have Martins Ferry as well.
So Martins Ferry and Shadyside. I think there's going to be enough points to get them in.
So Shadyside, this is Shadyside's last game.
Okay.
So Shadyside's done, and then Ferry.
I do. I think it's going to get them in, Zach. I think 5-5.
Ferry's got Central and Bel Air left.
Okay. I think it's going to get them enough to get them in at 5-5. Not a thing.
Not a thing. Okay.
Not a thing.
I mean, again, I'm teeing these ones up, so I can't really vote on these ones. It's not like higher or lower where I feel like I can give in. I think this is a Jeff Stevens fire moment.
Ooh,
okay.
I'm firing.
All right. We got one. I'm going to pitch one to you here.
Ooh, it sounds like a soccer one.
It's on a pitch, yeah. So Wheeling Park boys will four-peat next year as OVAC soccer champs.
That's a thing.
That's a thing? Why do we feel that way?
That's the thing. I just think with their program. Now, I know there's some other teams in the OVAC. I think Morgantown's usually up there and Parkersburg South's usually up there. But until you lose, I got to go with a champion. I got to go with Park. It's a program. When you have the coach and you have the players coming through, it's a program. It's not just 1 year and then we get rid of guys, we get rid of a coach. That's how you build a program. You keep the coaches, the players keep coming through the program. Wheeling Park, four-peat OVAC soccer champions.
Love it. Love it. It's a thing. It's a thing. You can put it in the bank, gentlemen.
It's a Volkswagen thing.
All right, so.
Car guys will get me on that one.
Despite an early season loss, this will be the year Cameron goes on a run to the Super 6.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. I that West Green game kind of didn't expose them, and West Green's pretty good. And I saw Cameron play, and I like Colson Wichterman, their quarterback. I like him. I like Clipson Wallace. I like what they do there with him. They've got some other guys, but they have some holes in different places that will be found in single way, Williamstown, James Monroe, those types of teams will find those weak spots and they'll really pick on them. St. Mary's is another one. I think other than that, Cameron could win a game or two in the playoffs, I believe, but Super 6, not a thing.
Not a thing. Okay. All right. The transfer rule in the state of West Virginia will have a short run. Is that a thing or not a thing?
That's a thing. I don't know how much I can divulge, but I know that I was at a meeting and there was, I don't think, an athletic director there that liked the way the transfer rule is set up. I think there will be availability to transfer, but I think they're going to put more rules on it. But as you know, Zach, when you try to put the cat back in the bag,
right,
that cat's going to fight.
It's hard to put the genie back in the bottle,
It
right?
is.
Yeah, it's challenging to do that.
And I don't know how they would change it. A lot of these rules, and I could be wrong about this. A lot of these rules are not permanent. They're kind of not temporary, if that makes sense.
Kind of like a beta test. If it's successful, they'll keep it, but if it's not, they'll can it.
And I think they're going to come back to this one, and because there's kids that they believe that are going to be on maybe a state championship football team, and then they might be on a different school for a state championship basketball team. So you're going to win 2 state titles at 2 different schools.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah,
I really don't like that.
It's going to be tough. So, and I'm sure everybody has ideas. I'd have ideas. You'd have ideas. They'd be a little different. But I think there are going to be some changes to it. I'm always I like the kids staying at their home school.
I do too.
I do like that. I do also get, I understand this part too. If you have, like a Phillips and a Robert Shockey at the same school and they're both quarterbacks, only one kid's going to get the reps. And if you're the same class,
yep,
I don't see how, one beats out the other and the other one sits and might be the second best player at that position in the whole state of West Virginia and doesn't get a chance to play. I don't know how you prove that.
Yeah.
But
other than
maybe
going to another
if
school
you believe in yourself, maybe go to or change positions, Zach. I mean that could be another thing.
Yeah, I mean, and then it comes into the whole debate. You and I as educators, are you choosing sports over an education? Like, is the school that you're at the best choice for education wise too? Like, I mean that's a whole different cat.
I'm so conflicted on this.
It's really challenging.
I go back to my. I'm a guy that, I went to the school I was supposed to get. Like, there was no even thought, like, to go to a different school. Like, that just didn't, nobody really went to a different school.
Right.
But I also believe that, you can look to other places that have this transfer rule in effect and have it in effect. I still believe those community schools end up doing a lot better in the long run, other than getting some of these transfers in. Because we mentioned a school in just slight passing, and I think they have 2 losses on the season, and they might get 3 or 4, and they have some of the best talent in the state. But part of high school sports isn't just playing the sport; it's being part of the community.
Right.
And if you're not part of the community doesn't not accept you, but the community may not get behind you like they would, like their homegrown kids.
Or may not embrace it as much, right?
So your attendance might go down a little bit, or, what if you're that kid that's in that community that's fought for that position, and then you get a transfer comes in and kind of knocks you out.
Right.
And then you transfer schools.
Right.
And you're forced to transfer. Some kids, I know they've talked about that were, going to play for this team, and then they ended up transferring out of a school that the family had gone to for years just because they weren't getting the opportunity at that school because they had a transfer come in. So I don't know.
It's a tough situation. It really is.
I don't think I could be sold on either side. So I don't know what my opinion is.
And that's really even like
I said, on the fence.
And that's even completely taking the educational aspect of it out. Like, what if you have a kid that's in a hardcore STEM field that is really interested in STEM fields, and you're at a school where there might be a private school, across a county line that might have a chance to have that STEM field or might have a chance for more rigorous AP courses. I mean, I went to Lindsley. I mean, I think I was pretty prepared for college, but I also have a friend who went to Wheeling Park who came to college with me, and he had enough credits to practically be a sophomore his junior year.
Yeah, and just imagine, like, some of the larger schools, your John Marshalls, your Wheeling Parks, your Brooks, they can offer classes that smaller schools can't just because they have the students that want to take them. If you have 1,200 students in your school, you're probably going to get a number of students that want to take some of these classes versus if you have 150 or 200 kids in your school.
It's very different.
You might get one kid every 4 or 5 years that want to take some of these courses, and you can't offer them. You just can't afford to do that.
Yeah, it's a really big quagmire that I'm really happy we're not making decisions on.
Yeah.
But so our last thing or not a thing is that Zach will pick Wheeling Central in Pick'ems before Tom shows up for a Streamcast recording.
I'm going to say what.
So Zach will pick Central before Tom shows up for a Streamcast recording. Is that a thing or not a thing?
Not a thing.
Not a thing?
Not a thing. Tom will be here before you pick Wheeling Central. And hey, Zach, I know you wanted me to come up with a couple, and I had one off the cuff. I kind of gave you Zach, thing or not a thing. Zach at some point will pick Bishop Donahue to win a game before he picks Wheeling Central. Thing or not a thing?
That's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. I made a sweeping declaration, Jeff.
Love you, Bishop Donahue.
I missed that school a lot. I miss
Bishop Donahue. And oddly enough, I coached kids that went there and they competed with athletes with my school, John Marshall. But I'm a true believer in this, that high school football in West Virginia and high school sports in West Virginia were better when Bishop Donahue was around.
Yeah, and then,
even though they had 100 and some kids, it was just, I don't know. It was just, I don't know.
And then, a personal note for me, somebody I coached with at Bishop passed away, Howard Stamp. It was really devastating to me personally. So, R.I.P. Howie, I miss you. You're a great guy. Anybody who knew Howard Stamp knew he was like one of the salt of the earth guys. Like literally give you a shirt off his back. Always had a story for you. If you met him ever, he had a story with you. He'd have a story for you. He'd have a beer with you, and he would sit there and talk to you. If you just met him, or if you knew him for 20 years, it was like you knew him for 20 years because he was just the most inclusive, caring guy. So we haven't had an episode since then, so I want to give a little tribute shout out there to Howie.
And I know he'd be proud of you, Zach, the way you carry on his stories. So,
absolutely, he's a fantastic guy.
So he's passed on here, but his stories will live on with you, and then those stories will get passed on because
anybody
you
who
tell them to
him.
us. So
anybody who
and I enjoy your Howard Stamp. I enjoyed the stories.
Yeah, anybody that Howie coached or coached with him knows like stuff. Like I remember all the time. Like we'd do film sessions or whatever, and if one of the running back coaches or wide receiver coach would criticize a lineman's blocking on it, Howie would be up there. Oh, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like down there. You guys are out there running your routes, and he'd defend his lineman to a T. And then we turned on the next play, and then he'd be mad that they missed an assignment. So it was like,
well, they're his guys. Yeah, you're allowed to say that against your guys.
He was
right?
allowed to criticize the lineman, but nobody else was.
Yeah.
But Howie was a fantastic dude, and just like I was, diehard Browns fan too. Right up to the end. I miss you, Howie.
Yeah.
Till we meet again. Little tribute there to my boy.
Yes.
I'm gonna miss him a lot. I always wonder what he would think about what we're doing. Up at Sherrard.
And on that note, hey, thanks for viewing.
Yes.
Share us, like us, do all that stuff. Go to ovathletics.com. Check out our articles. Go to our Facebook page. Go to Twitter. I think Chris Thoburn. Thanks out to Chris.
Absolutely.
He has our Twitter going a little bit. We gave him some login stuff. He likes to.
Is it Twitter or is it X now?
Oh, I got to call it X, right? I don't know. Twitter, formerly known as XX. I don't even know if we're allowed saying it, but
the X, go to our X, known as Twitter.
Go to our X where you post stuff. Go to our Facebook. Like us, share us, do all that kind of stuff. Tune in, watch, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. We'll see you at games this weekend.
Hey, go watch some football this weekend.